when you're thinking about where the content is ending up,
Mm-hmm.
you can be more active in the moment. So like the shot that we're describing is me walking from outside, going and opening a door and walking to a front desk. So like
Mm-hmm.
the way that I could be a good like subject in this video is to make sure I'm always grabbing the handle with the same hand. Like
Yes.
don't switch your hands. Don't mess with your hair. Just like
Yeah.
repeat, and like
Yes.
get those reps in so that it's going to make it more seamless for you when you go to edit, because maybe one take was better than the other take because we see the logo more or whatever,
Yes.
but that you have like less post production. Greetings and welcome back to the Kiss My Aesthetic podcast. I'm so excited to have Nadia here today. Welcome, Nadia.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, this is a long overdue episode because you took headshots for me. I've helped Ruben, your other half, with his branding. We did the Fit Boss Blueprint weekend. We are also friends.
We are friends. This is true.
This is a long time coming, but for anyone who doesn't know you, tell us who you are, what you do, who you help.
Okay, so hi, I'm Nadia. I'm a branding photographer and videographer. My business is called LeightBox Media. I specialize in personal branding for female entrepreneurs, whether they're just starting out or they're already established. I help them create everything they need visually to market themselves, and more importantly, everything they need to show up confidently in their business. I also work with bigger commercial brands and businesses to create their marketing materials. So everything from ad campaigns to sizzle reels, every video type they need to market themselves. I'd say my goal is always just to make really good visuals that leave a good impression.
Oh, and this is why you and I work so well together, because everything that you do is what I don't do, and everything that I do is what you don't do.
That's so funny. We just
Right?
meet. We just meet.
It is. It's this perfect partnership. But how long have you been interested in photography? How did you get into this? And how did you realize, like, oh, maybe I could kind of do this for a job?
Yeah, I mean, I shot through all of college. I was always the like cheesy story with the girl with the camera. But then towards the end of college, people started asking me to shoot them for graduation photos, start shooting their events. And so right after college, I was like, okay, I can probably make a job out of this. And I luckily had some friends who were also starting their businesses, women, at the same time. One of my friends was starting her own jewelry business. That was the very first like branding business that I did a photo shoot for. And it's funny, that was in 2014. And
Wow, nice.
it's like, I know we've both been at this for like a good amount of time. It's funny to look back because everything I'm doing now is kind of built on that same foundation of, okay, I need to make sure she has everything she needs to grow her business. I want to make sure she can do everything she possibly can to stand out and to feel good about herself and her business. So it all started there. And then through networking here, more of my friends were doing the same thing. They were starting their businesses. I need photos for my website. I need photos for Instagram. And then in 2017, I started shooting video. I got a new camera, which was desperately needed because I was dying to shoot video. And Maddie, our other good friend, was the first person who I told. We were at dinner one night and I said, oh yeah, I'm starting to shoot video. And she said, I need someone to shoot video.
Yeah.
And so I started shooting video for the big brand that she was working with, just jumped in. Totally jumped in, full confidence, with not a lot of experience in video. And I've been shooting video ever since then. I've gotten a lot better, obviously, but that's how I started shooting video, which was really important at that time because that's when Instagram started getting video. That was like the first year that they really started to that was up and coming. So.
Oh my gosh. And it's only continuing to evolve and change and grow. This industry is so hard to keep up with. But like you said, like those core values are still the same of like creating content, whether that's on the graphic design side or on the photo video side of like, how do we create a brand that people can look at and feel like they want to be a part of? So what are some of the things that tell you that a photography project is going to go really well? Like, what are the things that they have to have prepared, the homework that a brand needs to do before they even think about doing photography? Because I've got to imagine you've worked with people that were not prepared at all. And then you've worked with people that are like anally prepared, like Maddie and I are. So talk to us about the difference of like what difference that makes for you as a photographer, knowing what the brand is coming to the table with.
Right. So that, like you said, there kind of is a really varying degree. I've had all of them and I do enjoy working with all types. So whether you're just starting or whether you've been at it for a while, I think some of the markers for success are, I mainly work with women. So it's the women that are really excited. I would say, first of all, is like they have passion. They're excited. They are sometimes the women who are switching gears, they're like, I was doing this for forever and I got tired of it. And now I'm doing this. This is what I want to do. So I would call that passion, coming to the table with passion, coming with a really good idea. And also the women who are being asked, who have a necessity for photos.
Yes.
Is, I have a lot of women who come to me who are like, oh, I started to have interviews. I need photos to hand them for the interviews. They're asking me for websites. I need photos for the website. They need the materials to show up how they want to show up and be the person they want to be. So I would say having that excitement, having that passion is already a really good start. And for those people, I'm going to guide them through what they need because I've done this for so long. I'm going to guide them through, okay, you're going to need this, this, and this to start out with. So let's start there versus somebody like you or our friend Maddie who come to the table completely organized. You have the entire brand rundown for your clients or yourselves. You have your brand colors. You probably are going to come with a shot list, which we can talk about later. But you guys are already going to come to the table with that. And we're going to approach the shoot differently because we're just focusing on continuing what you're already doing versus somebody who's just starting out. We're going to focus on where you want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think our job is always like, as marketers, is like, how can I make this as easier for the photographer as easy as possible so that they continue to want to work with us?
That is
it's always like
so thoughtful of you.
You know what I mean? It's like, how can I make sure that we have the checklist and the mood boards and the brand vision and all of these things? And for me, when I'm talking to clients, I'm always explaining like, do your branding first and then get the photography immediately after branding because it'll be fresh in your mind. You'll be excited, like you're talking about, right? Passionate about it. There's a lot of different types of photo shoots that brands can do. I've always explained it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, as like there's e-com, like very strictly product photography. There's studio photography, which is going to be in a controlled environment, controlled lighting, etc. And then there's lifestyle photography. And I find myself having to explain these three types so much.
Really?
How do you kind of, because people they just think photography, like, photography, and that a lifestyle shoot is going to take the same things that you need in an e-com shoot. And I'm like, those are two totally different beasts. How do you describe to someone when you're talking to them about their brand? How do you tell them what type of shoot is going to be best for what they need?
Right. So when a client first comes to me, I always have a discovery call with them. And I feel like that's when I really can help guide them because I'm there to help them. They need help. So clients don't know what they don't know, which is what you're saying. Like they don't know the difference between all these things. So I always ask them what your product is, what are you selling? That's going to help set the vibe. For example, say if somebody's a yoga teacher versus somebody who is a marketer, okay? Or like even an esthetician. I shot lots of estheticians.
Sure.
Those three examples are going to be shot in such different ways and in such different places. So the yoga, we need to show off what she's doing. An esthetician, we're probably going to need to shoot where she's at in her studio. I would just say I guide them based off of what they need and I pick the best possible spot for them. E-commerce is going to be if they're product heavy. Are they selling clothes? Then I tell them, okay, well, if you're selling clothes, the best way is we're going to need to be in a studio because people coming to your site, they need it to look the same kind of as every other site for just selling clothes versus the lifestyle half of that shoot is what you're going to put on Instagram. And so it's where are you going to be selling your product and your services to? That helps me figure out where we're going to need to shoot and helps me explain to them the differences in those locations.
And there could also be a huge range in the cost and planning that goes into all of these things. Like so
100%.
much of photo shoots are logistics.
Yes.
And like sorting out where's our location, who are our models, what are the products, what's the shot list? Like that's the stuff that I love.
How much is the studio going to cost? People always want to have the studio vibe and the aesthetic, but they oftentimes don't understand that can be very costly. So it's up to us to explain.
How do you help someone narrow down if they say, okay, I'm launching a business and my photography budget is 10 grand? Like, how do you help them kind of peel back the layers and say like, okay, well, here's your options? Or like, do you kind of, I know you're doing this in the discovery phase, but at what point do you say like, okay, this is where we can be scrappy, but this is something that you cannot like skimp on. This is necessary. What are some of those make or breaks for you?
I would say I like to do, I'm a very organized photographer and I love lists.
Mhm.
I feel like we both love
Mhm.
lists.
Mhm.
So when they come to me, I kind of get the big picture on that, like I said,
Mhm.
on that discovery call where we're just chatting. I get the big picture and then I will do a full cost breakdown. And that's where we can see what are the most important things, which probably is going to be the studio if you're doing a studio shoot.
Sure.
But that's where we do the big cost breakdowns. And then I'll go over it with them and say, okay, what is the most important part for you? What are and what is going to be the most important things for your business right now? What is
Mhm.
going to help you show off the best? And it really varies depending on what the services are that they're selling. Is it
Right.
just a female entrepreneur? That's just one person. So that's going to be
Mhm.
so different than people who are coming to me with, needing to show off a lot of products or they need a lot of models. It can just vary so much, but I think that a full breakdown and just really setting the expectations with them, guiding them through the process, that's really going to help you the most with handling expectations around all those costs.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
And then also, like, you can go all the way up to I'm so impressed by, like, the volume of work that you do, first of all, and, like,
Oh my
how
gosh,
much you
thank
can
you.
do simultaneously, because
Yes.
I think that that is also your secret superpower,
Thank
is
you.
I was just kind of shadowing you on a shoot on Monday. It was
Yes.
at a location. There
Yes.
were multiple people, multiple team members. You were getting the building, you were getting the service, you were getting all the stuff, but
Right.
your ability to, like, maybe it's our Gemini, maybe it's our ADHD, right? I'm like, your ability to maybe she's born with it, maybe it's ADHD. Um, because same, but your
Yes,
ability to
both of us.
switch gears so quickly between different types of cameras, different
Right.
types of shots, photo, video, video back to photo back to video. Is that something you learned, or is that something that you've always done really naturally?
I feel like both. Definitely feel like both because even before video, I was taking iPhone video for brands
Mhm.
because that was important when I was back
Mhm.
back before video came
Still
onto
is. Yeah.
Instagram. So
Yeah.
I think it was always natural for me. And then the brands that I worked was starting to need video at the same time. So it was learned and I liked it and I could do it.
Yeah.
Even today, so on our shoot on Monday, what you didn't see is sometimes I feel like a lot of photographers will do this too, but I'll have a whole rig where I have like the iPhone on top of the camera and there's a microphone and then there's a gimbal and it's like this crazy setup that allows you to get everything that you need.
Mhm.
It is definitely learned. I've seen a lot of other photographers do it and it can be really challenging to do photo and video at the same time. And you have
Right.
to stay very organized. You have to be very intentional while you're shooting. And I think you saw this on Monday, but while I'm shooting, I'm explaining to the person that I'm working directly with what's going to happen. Here's
Yes.
what's going to happen. So I'm going to take video of this. And at the same time, I'm going to be taking photos. So it's very important to be communicative on
Mhm.
these shoots. I over communicate. It
Mhm.
saves you so much. Just over communicate. Technology wise, it can be challenging because you're setting up light differently for
Mhm.
photo or for video. So that is definitely a more challenging aspect, but I've been doing this for a very long time that I feel like I've got my systems really dialed in for that. And the most important thing is just communicating with your models and your client
Right.
what
Right.
you're going to be. And people are curious. They want to know. They
Yes.
love to see the camera. I'm not a shy photographer. I love to be like, for the person who's running it, do you like the way this looks? I show them and I ask them. I like to have feedback. I like to collaborate and take in people's opinions. And I feel like that makes all the footage come out better too.
Well, this is where your creativity is coming through, right?
Right.
Because you're not just there as the technician that can technically operate the cameras. Like, you're also
Right.
directing it. You're
Oh,
also
yes.
directing them.
Director.
You're
Mm-hmm.
directing, you're posing them, you're giving them feedback. That's good. Do more of that. That's awesome.
Right.
What's the internal monologue that's happening? Because you and I talk fast, but tell me, like, give me like a little insight into your brain of like, okay, I'm
Oh
showing
my
up on the
gosh.
shoot and this is what I'm thinking in my head.
The
Can
internal
you?
monologue is crazy. I feel like my brain is thinking there's 1,000 tabs open at once
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
because I'm communicating with the client. They're seeing the front side of everything. So like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the shot looks good. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I have to make sure this video looks good for Instagram, for website. Are we getting everything that we need for B-roll for website?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I getting all the photos they need for every single platform that they're going to be putting it on?
Mm-hmm.
This is how
Mm-hmm.
fast my brain is thinking on the shoot. And I'm also thinking, is the client comfortable? Is the model
Mm-hmm.
comfortable? How are they feeling? I want to make sure they feel good. And I'm always communicating with them, trying to make sure that they feel comfortable and that they have trust in me that I'm going to make them
Right.
look good. There's 1,000 tabs open, but at the end, I always remind myself, like, you know what you're doing. And I have
Yes.
so much trust in myself that it comes out
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So that's an
No,
internal model.
No, that literally, but our friends were making fun of us the other night because I was cooking for a dinner party. And
Yeah.
they're like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "Nope, all 16 voices in my head have something to do." Because I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "I've got this in the air fryer, this is in
Yes,
the oven, this is on the stove, this is over here. In 10 minutes, I'm gonna
exactly.
start this, and in 20 minutes, I'm gonna start that. But while I'm doing that, I'm gonna start chopping
Yes.
and prepping this to go into that." So, like, in a weird way, it's like a flow state.
It
And
is
it's
a
just
flow
like,
state. Mhm.
I always leave like energized. I don't know if you like leave
Yes.
energized from a shoot or are you like completely depleted?
I think it depends on the shoot. There are
Yeah.
days where, yes, I'm tired, but it was a really fun shoot, but I leave like, "Oh my gosh, my body's just a little bit tired."
Yeah.
It really just depends if I'm working with just like you and me, our shoot
Yeah.
that we did, for example. It is so much fun. We are having the best time. I do get energized when I can tell people are so happy with the photos and happy with what we're doing. And on my shoots, I always make it a really fun experience for everybody. Make sure we're just having a good time. And
Mhm.
those shoots, I always leave just really happy. Even like
Mhm.
Ruben will tell you, "Oh, I know exactly who your dream clients are because you leave feeling so good."
Yeah.
And I come
Yeah.
home and I'm just like, "Oh, I had the best shoot." And there are, like I said, there are days where I'm tired, but it also
Sure.
depends on, okay, where am I at and what in the month, I'm going to feel more
Right. Right.
tired at that time, of course.
Right.
So it just depends. It also depends on how long the shoots go for. If we're having a shoot from like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
till 9 at night,
Exhausting.
I'm probably going to be tired.
Pretty tired. Pretty tired.
Yeah.
As you've heard me say time and time again on this podcast, what worked in 2024 for social media management is not the same as what's going to cut it in 2025. Platforms are shifting, algorithms are chaotic, and keeping up feels like playing whack-a-mole in the wild, wild west. That's exactly why we made our 2025 social media webinar. This is the deck that we actually sent to our clients. It's 65 slides long. And in the 45-minute webinar, I basically walk you through all the platforms, who owns them, their involvement with the current political administration, what are the pros and cons of each platform, what content performs best, as well as what our team would need for strategy, content creation, and posting and engagement to run the strategy on behalf of your brand. So whether you're a small business owner looking to work with us, or you're also a social media manager or creative just trying to get a better grip of the social media landscape, this is a resource you're going to want to take advantage of. You want to head to our website, mkwcreativeco.com/resources. So mkwcreative.co/resources. This is the 2025 social media webinar. And just for you, I included the one-pager reference guide that we've also sent to our clients to really give you the full menu of options in one big flash sheet. So take advantage of it or hit the link in the show notes to get access to our 2025 social media webinar, because it is wild out there and you shouldn't have to figure it out by yourself. Good luck. Enjoy. What can people who are in my position, like social media managers, brand
Hmm.
designers, what can we do to help you on shoot days? What's the most helpful?
On shoot days or before?
Yeah. Ooh, both.
On. So let's start with before.
Yeah.
Because you crush a before. You Michelle, personally, you crush a shoot prep so well. I remember the first time we worked together, which was for the
Uh-huh.
dental hygiene
Dental Hygiene Nation.
nation.
Uh-huh.
That was the first time we worked together. I was so excited because the deck you sent me was so
Detailed.
perfect. It was so perfect. It was just right though. It was
Yeah.
perfect. It was just right. And you did something so well. You lay out everything. So you lay out the brand colors, you lay out what you're looking for, the vibe of the
Mhm.
shoot. So you probably put like adjectives to describe what you're looking
Mhm.
for in there. You put location ideas, mood boards. Um, those help me so much because I can
Mm.
help guide where are we going to shoot, what time of day are we going to shoot. It just helps lead into the shoot very, very well. And
Mhm.
then on the shoot day, I think the biggest help for people who are social media managers is to come with your list.
Mhm.
I'm probably going to get a shot list before we even start shooting, and a shot list just runs down multiple shots that we're looking for, must have shots, must have video shots, specific things like that. So during the shoot, it's having that shot list up. And
Mhm.
I'm so busy with setting shots
Running
up,
the thing?
running the
Yeah.
show, that it is so beyond helpful when you come with a shot list and can kind of take some of that off my plate, where we say, okay, we got this shot. Let's move on to this shot next. We can pick the order of the shots. Looking for small things like anything from making sure the props are ready if we're using props, to taking iPhone BTS.
Mhm.
That is so helpful because then we get more. we always want to make the most out of our shoot. So the more, the better. More iPhone, more video, more
Yeah.
everything.
And I feel like also just sometimes being able to tap you on the shoulder and be like, "Okay, this is what time it is."
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
"Okay, we've got 30 more minutes here. Great. Okay, I
Yes.
think we got what we needed. Is there anything else you need?" Like this is the kind of like role play that I think of when we're in these photo shoots. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, like we got the shot, but oh, remember this one was on the mood board. Like I'll pull up my iPad or pull up my phone and be like,
Yes.
"Remember this one? Like what are the chances we could recreate something like this?" And then it just like the
Yes.
creative energy starts flowing. But I think keeping track of time is a good one. Like definitely shot list is a good one. And then anything you can do to just be that extra pair of eyes to tweak things so that you don't
Yes.
have to fix them in post. Is someone's tag sticking out? Does their hair look funny? Is there a
Yes.
smudge on the product? Like just
Right.
being active. Cause I've got to imagine it's a lot harder when the person that you're shooting for and you're shooting for their brand is kind of like hands off, just like lets you do the whole thing. Not that you can't, obviously you can,
Yeah.
but like we're collaborators in this, right? Like, is that,
Exactly. No,
yeah?
I love, we are such collaborators. When I work
Yeah.
with people like you, it is just, it makes every shoot so much better. It
Yeah.
really does. And I always appreciate your input. Even on the shoot on Monday, you were like,
Mm.
"Oh, I hope this is okay." I'm like, "No, I value your opinion." Like
That was so funny.
I was like, if you were a man, I probably would not let you.
Right. So funny. So
But
funny. But I
yeah.
think too, when you know where it's going to end up, when you're thinking about where the content is ending up,
Mhm.
you can be more active in the moment. So, like the
Yes, be
shot that we're
mindful.
describing, yeah. And the shot that we're describing is me walking from outside, going and opening a door and walking to a front desk. So, like the
Mhm.
way that I could be a good, like, subject in this video is to make sure I'm always grabbing the handle with the same hand. Like,
Yes.
don't switch your hands. Don't mess with your hair. Just like
Yeah.
repeat, 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 and like
Yes.
get those reps in so that it's going to make it more seamless for you when you go to edit because maybe one take was better than the other take because we see the logo more or whatever, but
Yes.
that you have like less post production. Talk to us about your post production process. Like you go to the shoot, you've got 12 memory cards that are completely full. How do you even start to cull through all the content that you got?
Right. Well, even before I start culling, I always talk to the client about when they can expect the
Mm-hmm.
deliverables and
Mm-hmm.
when do they need them by? Do we have dates? Just make sure I'm setting those expectations very clearly from the get go. But yeah, after the shoot, the next day is when I usually cull through because I'm just so excited. And I'm kind of tired sometimes, so I don't always want to cull it that night.
Sure.
I cull through the next day. Shout out to one of my favorite culling programs, Photo Mechanic. I love that program.
Oh,
It'll save your life.
what does it do?
It's just an amazing place to cull your photos. The photos are so large that
Oh.
it lets you cull them through them extremely fast.
Oh, interesting. So are
It's
you doing kind
amazing.
of like, are you star rating them? Like, how are you
Yes,
kind of
I
working?
rate
You
them.
are. Okay.
There's actually newer programs that have AI in them that help you
Oh,
cull. Big AI fan. We both are
same,
obviously.
same.
But yeah, so I cull through all the photos and I go through a couple rounds of culling just to make sure that I'm getting all the best shots. Sometimes we do need to get a second look at everything. And then for video, I'm doing the same. I'm culling through all the video, finding all the best clips.
Right,
And from there, I start my editing process. So I do Lightroom and Photoshop. Don't just do a slap a filter on, I do full retouching as well.
right.
Just because I like to make sure everything is perfect. These cameras are too good. I'm like, our eyes
Uh-huh.
do not see that well.
Uh-huh.
They really
Like,
don't.
leave a little to the imagination, please.
No, seriously, people are
Like,
always
I don't
like,
need to see the veins in my skin, thank you very
"No!"
much.
Yes, the people are always like, "I wanna be natural. I wanna look like
Yeah.
myself," like, which obviously you do, but I'm like, "Nobody's eyes is gonna see as well as this 48 megapixel camera.
Right,
I can't see the
right,
pores in your face." So anyway, I go through
right.
I love to do it's just a very natural retouching, and, for the video, I just do a really nice simple edit,
Mhm,
and then I'll start the delivery. I'll start uploading.
mhm.
I start the delivery process to the client.
Yeah.
But that's the post. That's the editing specifically process.
Of course, of
Hmm.
course. No, I'm always trying to tell clients that have brands that, like, you actually need a lot less photos than you think.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about
They'll
that.
use a lot less photos than they
Yeah,
think. It's kind of like I think quality over quantity
for sure, for
is a
sure.
good saying for that. But people love to see a lot of photos.
Thousands of
They
photos.
love to see a lot of photos,
Yeah.
but then oftentimes I think people do get so overwhelmed by having
Mhm.
so many photos. And honestly, whenever I'm going into a new shoot, I tell my female entrepreneur clients who are just starting, the just
Mhm.
starting out ones, I'm like, listen,
Mhm.
I want to see you use all these photos. Like, don't
Yes.
just get really excited about the photo shoot and then lose your momentum. Don't do that. Like, get excited and use them. Post all of them. I want to see them. And I think sometimes people do get overwhelmed with the amount of photos that they can have, but that's when you have somebody like, if you can outsource having a social media person, that's going to be the best thing you can do. But yeah,
But yeah, I
quality
think
over quantity.
quality over quantity, and we also wanna find ways to reuse the same shot. Like, even if you're gonna
Yes,
post it once as
longevity.
a photo exactly. Post it
Longevity.
once as a photo, use it as a cover for a reel, use it as a cover in a carousel, use it on your
Yes.
website, use it in your PR,
Podcast
use it in your
cover.
marketing. Exactly.
Yes.
And I think a lot of
I
people fall
always look for
short.
longevity.
They fall short because they pay for all this photography, they post it for, like, a month, and then they're like,
Yes.
"Uh," and they never open it again. And I'm
Yeah.
still using clips from we did that shoot in my apartment a year ago. I
Oh
still
my
use the
gosh,
clips.
so
I still
crazy.
use it as the cover slide on a presentation I'm about to give, like, later this afternoon. Like, I'm still
Amazing.
using those
Yes.
pictures because they become that consistency, and, like, no
Yes,
one is
it's
paying
your
so close
personal
attention.
branding. It's your
Yes.
branding. That your
Yes.
photos are usually the first impression of your brand.
Completely. Completely,
Keep
and you
using
need
them.
the consistency. You need the consistency because people aren't gonna realize that, like, the cover like, the banner of your website is also the
No.
cover of your portfolio or your
Yeah.
proposal is also on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares. Like,
I was about
but,
to
like,
say, here's
you
the
know?
thing, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yep,
cares.
yep.
Just use it. But I definitely longevity is so important. Whenever
Mhm.
I'm going into the shoot, I always think, okay, how can I make sure they can use these for a long time? I want to
Mhm.
make sure they get the most out of the photos. And
Mhm.
that's why I'll be like, okay, we need to do this many outfit changes because I want
Yes.
you to be able to use these photos. I want them to last. I have some clients that are still using the photos I took 3 years later, 3 years
Yeah.
later, 4 years later, which is that's a long time.
It's a long time.
And
It
I'm
is a
like,
long time.
yes, good for
Yeah.
you. You look great in them. Keep using
Uh-huh.
them.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
In your opinion, what would be best case scenario for like a service-based or a product-based business? Like how often in your dream world would they get new
Dream
photography?
world.
Because there is kind of
Dream
that
world.
point. There's that point where it's like, okay, we don't need to shoot every week or even every
No.
month, but like what kind of consistency do you usually recommend for someone that's like, I want really great photos all year long?
If they want to have great photos all year long, ideally, at most, I'd probably say once a quarter,
Yeah.
maybe 2 quarters of the year.
Yep.
That's good because you can still keep your like we were saying, you're using the same ones but it develops that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But your personal brand photos are going to be consistent across the
Mm-hmm.
board if we shoot quarterly a year. But the
Mm-hmm.
people who are doing quarterly shoots are doing really well and they have it just keeps it fresh on people's
Yes.
feeds. You're fresh on people's minds. The more they see you, the better. The more likely
Right.
people are to buy into your business, the more trust you're gaining, the more often they see you, and the more photo shoots you have, honestly, the more successful you look in your business because
Completely.
people are like, wow, she's doing really well. Like
Yep.
they want to be a part of it.
Yep. Yep. And just the way that I was journaling this morning and I had
Yes.
like all these affirmations from January 1. So like I rewrote them again because it's now the end of the month. And one
Hmm.
of them is like I put effort into my appearance as a reflection of my own self love.
Right.
Of like, it's yes, it's nice to get glam for a photo shoot. And yes, it's nice to like, it feels like the super glamorous, like silly, crazy, ridiculous thing sometimes.
Hmm.
But it's how you present yourself to the world is how you're treated in a lot of
Yes.
ways.
It's
Right.
true.
So
Yes.
it like this podcast is a great example. You helped me with the whole setup here because I'm like, I really want to level this thing up. Like I need
Yeah.
to get lights and get a camera and like have a YouTube. I want to have more of an established YouTube presence. I'm not going to get there by continuing to film it on my Mac camera in my apartment with
Right.
my popcorn ceilings that drive me insane that I can't change. So like I needed to start to show up in a way that is going to garner the type of opportunities that I want. Podcast sponsorships, better guests, like
Hmm.
talk to me about like how that's impacted the businesses you've worked with or even how it's helped Ruben. Like since you've known him, his
Oh
gear
yeah.
and his setup is like holy smokes. Like it
Yes.
gives this level of professionalism that I think like
Hmm.
really it does make people take you seriously.
It makes people take you seriously and it also helps you attract your dream client.
Yeah.
It really helps you attract your ideal client. And the way that we're showing up is not in a superficial way. It's in a way where it's like,
Right.
I care about myself. I care about my business. I'm
Right.
putting in effort. And when I shoot people and they look great and they feel great, they tell their friends about it. They get so much good feedback
Mm-hmm.
that the way they show up, it really impacts them. I had one girl, I did a personal lifestyle branding shoot for her.
Mm-hmm.
I got the best feedback. She said that people were messaging her out of nowhere because
Amazing.
they were saying, they were messaging her out of nowhere, and they were like, she was a marketing strategist,
Yeah.
and she was like, I have people messaging me saying, wow, you're doing so well for yourself. Like, you're doing so well for yourself. How business must be going so good. Like, oh, I want,
Yeah.
they're sending her inquiries, and she didn't realize why. And then she said, Nadia, it's because I posted
The
the photos.
photos.
I posted
Uh-huh.
the photos.
Uh-huh.
I was like, this is exactly what I want. This
Uh-huh.
is
Uh-huh.
exactly what I want for you. And that is the goal. I want you to be able to grow your business. And you're just attracting
Yes.
the good clients. You're attracting good energy, that kind of thing.
And you can still do so without damaging your authenticity. Like, I think that's the most
Exactly.
fun about what we had about shooting in my apartment is like, well, this is my office. Like, yes, I could go
Yes.
rent a photo shoot location with like in a sky rise with a big
Mm-hmm.
table and the conference. That's actually not how my clients are interacting with me. They're interacting with
Mm-hmm.
me because I'm taking my Zooms from home. I'm talking to my
Yes.
team at home. So like it made sense to do this kind of like big messy table because that's reality.
Yeah.
But capturing it with like a nice high def camera is like
Exactly.
something I wasn't able to do on my own.
Yes, and it just shows your life, your
Yeah.
lifestyle, who it really showed who you are, and it is
Yeah.
authentic. And it's fun to see you in the kitchen doing a dinner
Right.
party
Right.
and make it look good. And those are materials that you can use for a while
Yeah.
because it
Well,
isn't it's just relatable.
yes, and they help us tell the story of our brand. Like, I'm constantly
Yes.
using cooking analogies because people understand food. People understand food. They understand that you have ingredients in your fridge and in your pantry. They understand what it's like to go to Costco and have a stockpile. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? So it's really
Relatable.
connected. It's super connected to the
Connecting.
service. Yes, it's connected to the service. It's their visual aids. They help people kind of understand. I think it's super exciting. And one of my favorite things about working with you is again how organized you are in handing off those
Oh,
deliverables. Like I said,
yes, thank
getting
you.
those the way that I've had to tell in the last year so many photographer videographers, I want color graded B-roll
Yes.
vertical, and they
Yes.
don't know what I'm saying.
I understand.
I'm like
I've
gonna throw my
witnessed
head through a
it.
wall. I'm gonna throw my head through a wall because I got transferred a Dropbox of raw, unedited, unculled
Oh my
video.
God. Oh my God.
And I was like, I
You're not
can't
even
even
equipped to handle that. Like,
no. And I'm not gonna sort
yeah,
through
we
all
have
of
the
your
software for that.
that's like me turning over an Illustrator file with like 47 different logo combinations in it. I'm like,
Yeah.
this isn't what I'm asking for. And I like almost went insane.
No,
So again,
I would go.
yes, just a word to the wise. If you're a photographer or videographer listening,
Mm-hmm.
having color graded on brand,
Color
already culled
graded.
B-roll, like 20
Yes,
seconds, because that is so easy to use in a TikTok and a
it
reel to
is.
set to a
Mm-hmm.
podcast audio. Like it's so useful. Looking to the future, what
Yes.
do you think are going to be things? Obviously, video is still big. Obviously, photo is still big. What are things that you're
Mm-hmm.
excited for in your space that you're kind of like, I'm going to keep an eye on this?
Well, I feel like honestly in photography and videography, I feel like we're in a really good space, really good time right now. I feel
Yeah.
like we're in a good time because we've been able to perfect the formula. Like, well, I've been able to perfect my formula, like I was telling you about, or like you were just talking about, where it's those color graded B-roll clips. We know
Yeah.
exactly what we need. We need 20 seconds. We need clips for social media managers to be able to make immense amount of clips for Instagram and for social. But I think what's really exciting looking forward is, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but is AI
Mm-hmm.
in photography and videography, because it has already made such a big difference in just the past year alone. It
Mm-hmm.
has made a massive difference for me in the time it takes to edit and to create these videos. It is so amazing. And I think if photographers and videographers aren't using it, they're going to get left behind a
Left
little
behind.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so excited for that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What else am I excited for? I feel like
I mean,
that's the biggest one.
We're using AI now to create the images that we put in the mood board. Because the
Yes,
images we're putting in the mood
amazing.
board, like we were pulling from Pinterest, that already exists. That's already been a photo. So
Hmm.
I'd much rather pull from actually like the recesses of my brain or what I put in
Yes,
ChatGPT to
you're
say like,
so
okay,
talented at it, though.
show
You're
me a
so talented.
it takes some time, but
You're
show me a
so
flat lay.
talented.
Show me a flat
Right,
lay of an interesting, engaging, high art, editorial flat lay
right.
of this product in this type of scene, and then I can show it to someone like you, being like, "Okay, how do we make this? How do we
Yes.
make something like this?" And using it as a
Hmm.
creativity creativity tool instead of just in post or just as a substitute for photography. Cause I still don't think it's a substitute for photography, especially lifestyle, especially of real people doing real things. You still need that, but it's a really nice supplement for the brainstorm process, which I really like.
It is such a good supplement, and it really allows me to see what you're looking for. And you're so good. You're exceptionally talented at it, though. You're exceptionally talented at it.
We had fun with it for Ruben's brand, right? He's like, I want my brand to be Batman Batcave in San Diego, James Bond. And we created all this imagery. So now that when he's out in the field and he sees a scene, or probably for you when you guys are on vacation, you're like, oh, this looks like Fit Boss.
No, exactly. It looks like Fit Boss. And obviously I shoot his photos. And so everything we take is aligned with that. And everything you created is aligned with the vision. Everything is aligned, which is really great. We want everything to be nice and aligned. I also think for the future, I just get so excited about I love learning about upcoming trends and kind of predicting what's going to happen and see what's leaving out the door. And I've always really I feel like you and I are kind of the same with this, where we like to see what's going to happen. And I love to predict trends, upcoming trends with photography, so that we can kind of be ahead of the curve with my clients, and I can guide them in the right way to be ahead of the trends. So that always gets me really excited. I think seeing what new trends are coming up and using AI, that gets me really excited.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, where can everyone find you, follow you, work with you, reach out, plug yourself?
So I'm on Instagram, LeightBox Media, LEIGHT. It's my last name. And I have a website, lightboxmedia.com, and you can browse around on there. It's pretty fun, but reach out, follow me, and I hope I see a lot of pretty faces in the future.
Oh my gosh. And we have so many more projects coming your way. So it's going to be a good year. This will be fun to listen to in the future. Yeah.
Yes, it'll be so fun to listen to.
Yay. Well, thanks so much for your time today. Thanks everyone for listening. If you loved the episode, don't hesitate to reach out. Please share it, send it, save it to a friend. I always get those messed up. Send, share to a friend.
Send, save, share.
Subscribe to our channel. It's to everyone. Just all the S words. But yes, thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you next time on the podcast. Thanks, Nadia.
Thank you.